Is Cube simply late to the party, or is this bike special enough so it will be a success? This is the Cube Long Tail Hybrid, and it's the latest one of the Cube cargo bikes. Long tail cargo bikes are quite common. Almost every manufacturer has one, and they all look similar. Cube does things a little bit differently, and in this video we will take a close look at the Cube Long Tail Hybrid Sport. But first, the specifications. We have 26-inch wheels in the front and in the rear, so it's quite uncommon for a long-tail cargo bike. The whole frame is aluminum. Cube calls it HPA, high performance aluminum. And this bike comes in two different versions. We got the Cube Long Tail Hybrid Sport with a 10-speed derailleur system, Shimano Dior. And there's the possibility to get this bike with an Inviolo, a stepless hub and a belt drive, which is quite uncommon in long-tail cargo bikes, even in 2024. The motor is the Bosch Cargo line with 85 Newton meters of torque, which is a 250 watt motor, so it's compliant with European law. And we got this quite big battery with 725 watt hours, and there's also a version with a second battery in this down tube, which is in this case a storage area, and this is something we'll come to later. 4 piston brakes, front and rear, for great braking power. The frame itself is pretty interesting. We got a relatively low step through, chunky tubes here in the front, this in-frame storage, as well as this very interesting looking shape right here, and it's not symmetrical, which is very interesting to look at. Very interesting is the paint again, because this is a matte paint, but all these labels, the Cube label, long tail, this is all reflective, so it looks pretty good in the dark when a car is approaching. This bike is very visible, especially when you look at the bags here in the back, and also here at the side, here at the front. So at night time you don't have to worry, and of course you got some very good lights in the rear and in the front as well. But back to the frame and to the geometry. Cube says this bike is suitable for people between 1.60 m and 1.90 m, so small and tall people can sit comfortably, but I figured that even with my size of 1.96 m, I can pull out the seat post quite a bit, and it's got this telescopic seat post, so it's easy to find the right seating position. And the handlebar as well is adjustable, so when you want to ride in a sporty position, that's possible, and when you want to ride in a very upright position, this is possible as well. The handlebar itself is quite wide, so you've got a lot of control over the bike, even when it's loaded and when you go over lumps and bumps. So the bike is not suspended at all, but the chunky tires make up for it a little bit at least. But the rear rack is, and this is very interesting. I've never seen this in any other bike before. Here in the front there's a bearing at the front mounting position of the rack, and here in the back is an elastomer, and this delivers not much travel, but it reduces the vibrations and it reduces the impact which comes from curbs or from routes that you go over. So the kids and the goods which are sitting on this rack or in the bags have a little more comfort than with other long-tail cargo bikes, which I find really interesting. And it showed that when I was riding with my kids, they were not as complainy as with other long-tail cargo bikes. And yeah, let's stick with the rear rack for a little bit. Pretty interesting. This cage is common with most long-tail cargo bikes, so kids are a little bit more protected when they sit on top of that. And there are also these seat pads. These are comfortable, these are quite plushy, and even when it rains, they are easily, they dry up pretty quickly, and they're easily sweepable, so no problem there with soaky pads. And they are easily removable because Cube has its own accessory program and special links to their racks with the Rilink system. You can simply pull this tab and then the seat pad ejects, and then you have the possibility, you can see that we used this bike pretty frequently, even in bad weather. Then there's the possibility to put other accessories onto there. So it's not limited to just 2 kids. And if you eject both seats, this space is exactly 60 by 40 centimeters big, so fitting for a Euro box, which is very convenient. And you can also put 2 Ryling bags or or baskets, for example, onto this rear rack. Let's put them back. Easy. And the second one, line it up, push it down, and then it snaps into place. This is very convenient and very easy, and you can react to any circumstance that you might encounter over the day. And there's also the possibility on this rail to put pannier bags on, and there's also the possibility to put these acid pannier bags onto the side of the rear rack. These are specially made for the Cube Long Tail Hybrid, have quite a large capacity, and there's also the possibility to ride them in this open configuration, so you can put child seats onto there and the kids can sit with attached bags on this rear rack. And when we take a look inside, again, we used this bike a lot, and the kids had their legs and their dirty feet and shoes in there. And there's also some separation for smaller goods and items. And you can put it here into this zip bag back here, and also here there's a net for smaller items, so you can have your goods a little bit organized. And these bags are, of course, again, rainproof. You just wrap the top up, snap these buckles, you buckle it up, and then these are weatherproof. And then the second rack is that one in the front. This is very interesting as well. It's a special cube mounting system. The bike comes standard without this front rack, and you can simply leave it. But then you have also the possibility to buy a front rack and to mount it onto these mounts, which are directly combined with the headset. So pretty non-invasive mounting for this front rack, and it still can hold up to 20 kilograms of load, which is quite a lot for a front mounted rack. There are 2 options for the front rack. One is this one with these metal rails, and then there's a plastic bucket which you can also simply attach at the frame at the same mounts. And this is more of a regular rack. We have this Ryling system again also in the front for this bag, for example, or a basket. And then you have this cargo space, which is about half as big as the one in the rear. So we have 40 centimeters by 30 centimeters, so half a Euro box fits onto there. And due to the fact that there's a lot of space to the handlebar, you can also load it pretty high. It's easy to mount these bags up, these Ryling bags, align it again, push it down, and then it's attached and it stays fixed on the bike. And this bag is quite interesting as well. This is the one that I mostly used during the weeks that we tested this bike, because it's really big. 2 kindergarten rucksacks will fit in there without any problem. It's waterproof, or it's rainproof again. And also there's the possibility to pack smaller goods into this zipped bag in the front. Then there's a third rack. As I said, there's the possibility to have this storage area here or a second battery, but this cage is always there. There's a possibility to mount it in 2 different positions, either in this position, so you can strap up some items on here and also put some more bottle cages onto there, but you can also flip it around, so this part is covering the down tube a little bit, and there's also again the possibility to mount bottle cages on the other side of this center rack. It's not that common to see in-frame storage in a bicycle, and also most long-tail cargo bikes don't use this space right here in the middle. So 3 different racks, one big one in the rear, one smaller one in the front, and one very versatile but small one in the middle. And this is a great idea by Cube. This is something I have actually seen before in other bikes, but Cube delivers this whole package for a very interesting price. So this bike in the standard configuration with all these bags and with the 10-speed derailleur system comes for a price of 3,800 euros in Germany, and I think in Europe, which is exceptionally good. Most other bikes with this strong engine or with this strong motor and with a smart system cost at least 1,000 to 1,500 euros more. And even if you want to have the Enviolo and a very low maintenance bike, it's just 400 euros more. So 4,200 euros, which is again at least 1,000 or 1,500 euros below the competition. And this is really exceptional. But all this exceptional price and all these details don't matter if the bike doesn't ride well, and this is something the Cube Long Tail Hybrid does very good as well. Because of the big wheels and the big tires, it's not just capable for the city roads, but as you can see here, we used it on dirt roads as well, and through the forest and through the rain, and it never missed a beat. The acceleration is really quick, and the motor is quick to respond because it's the top of the line Bosch motor, and it's got this very efficient chain drive. And another benefit of this bike is the short wheelbase, so it pretty much feels like a regular bicycle, just a tiny bit longer. Many other long-tail cargo bikes have these big wheelbases, which makes them a little bit less agile, but this bike is also capable of tight turns, tight bends in a relatively quick speed. And what I found as well is that even though the center of gravity is higher than with 20-inch long-tail cargo bikes, this is no problem when you are riding it. Even not if you are really pushing the limits. This bike doesn't tend to lift the front wheel up as some other 26-inch long-tail cargo bikes do. This is very well made, and how do you say? Let me Google. It's very balanced. That's the word I was looking for. And yeah, riding it is great. Also, the brakes give you a lot of confidence, so you can easily stop and get off the bike at the lights, for example. But with this derailleur system, of course, you always have to think about shifting down, so you won't be stuck in a big gear when you lift off again. But there's also something which I don't like about this bike, and this is especially the kickstand, because this is the Ursus Jumbo kickstand, and it's very hard to get the bike off and on this kickstand. Especially when there's load in the back and load in the front, this bike gets very heavy, and because of the high center of gravity, it's very hard to use this kickstand, especially when you are a smaller or a lighter person. But all in all, this is a great cargo bike. It looks cool, it rides well, it's got plenty of capabilities, and it comes to an exceptional good price. So to answer the question from the beginning, is Cube late to the party, or are they too late to the party? I don't think so, because there are not many 26-inch long-tail cargo bikes around, and this bike has so many cool solutions and so many cool ideas, and quite some things that really stand out in this bike, that it really begs the question, why buy anything else, especially when you consider that price? Except for this kickstand situation, which is really frustrating in an otherwise awesome bike. But what do you think about the Cube Long Tail Hybrid? Just type it down in the comments. Leave a thumbs up if you like the video, and if you want to join the Radelbande on our next ride, hey, that's from the other channel. If you want to see more videos on the Cargobike channel, then simply subscribe. See you soon.